Welcome to the Nairn County podcast, which is brought to you in association with our digital partner Ziyen Energy, the leading blockchain software and digitalisation experts leading the field in emerging technologies related to oil and gas tokenisation. For more, go to ziyen.com. Part 3 of Callum Donaldson's chat with Graham McLeod sees Big Cal talk about breaking into the county team, his disappointment at losing the 2009 North of Scotland Cup final, and his joy at winning the Highland League Cup in 2011. All this and more on the Nairn County podcast.
The 2008-9 season, the following year, you come back. You start the season as the backup to John Campbell. You're still the backup at the point where we win the North of Scotland Cup against Cally Thistle at Grant Street. How did that feel that day? Was it difficult not to be involved? Was it mixed emotions?
Obviously, I would have wanted to be playing, but at that point, John had just Players Player of the Year, Supporters Player of the Year. I mean, John Campbell was a first-class goalkeeper. I mean, even up until recently, I think everybody knows that. So At that point, I was ready to challenge him. I was ready to push him. I was working really hard, but I was under no illusions that John was first choice goalkeeper. Yeah, I would have wanted to play in the final. Absolutely. I mean, I don't. If anybody who's been part of a final winning team and not played, you don't feel like you deserve the medal or anything like that. But it's all part of your development, you know. And as I say, at that point, I could have no qualms. John was first class. The great thing for me with John as well, he was bound to get sent off. So I was only a matter of time before I did get a chance.
And that chance came later on that season. I'm not sure whether he was sent off or injured, but up at Fraserburgh, late on, you got on, and then the following week, you're in the frame to start, and it's back to Huntly again. This time, we win 3-1, and you don't really look back from then on. What's your sort of memories of that day?
I'll tell you the truth about the Fraserburgh one. So we'd done our warm-up just before half-time. John had got clattered. John being an absolute battler he is, I think he could barely walk, and he was like, I'm fine to play. I was like, any chance? But anyway, so that day, I don't know how, but so I'm sitting in the dressing room. The second half has just started. It's freezing, blowing a hoolie outside. Me and Finney are in the dressing room eating a pie and a cup of tea. And I don't know who, someone comes running in. It's like, Cal, you're going on. So I stuffed my pie in my gob and on I went. But it was late in the second half by this point, so I don't think I played much there, but I do remember knowing I was playing in the Huntly game and buzzing for it. And I also remember being furious that we conceded a goal because we were much the better team that day. I know we won 3-1 and what have you, but yeah, and I do remember vividly at that point being like, as long as I keep up the standards doing and you know keep the levels up, I can get a prolonged period in the team here. And I played a few games, and to be fair to John said to me, he's like, look, I mean, a few months down the line this was, but he's like, look, I know I'm not going to be back in the team, so I'm going to be looking for other options. He's like, you're established now. So yeah, that was a big confidence booster for someone like John Campbell to say that.
Yeah, John moves on, and the following season we go on a real sort of major recruitment drive. Dale Gillespie, Craig Campbell, Stephen Mackay, and later Robbie Duncanson all come in. Doesn't quite happen in the league that season. It finished 11th out of 18 down the bottom half, but we did reach a North Cup final. Unfortunately lost 3-2 at Forest, but can you talk us through that day and maybe could have won it another day or if it went any longer?
You say that, but their goalie threw in one of our goals. I think Easter took a free kick and he bobbled it and it went in. And they had Rooney playing. I mean, I think I've still got a scar on my chest from Adam Rooney from that day. And Xander Sutherland was playing for them. Like, they were a good team. Don't get me wrong, we were a good team. And I mean, as you say, the players that we did, they raised the standards, but they also raised the standards in terms of nutrition, in terms of fitness. And stuff. That's when I think that we could have a right at winning this league, honest with you. I'd obviously been around the league for a while. I mean, I'd seen the players at Bucking, Vale team. I mean, when I first started Vale with Ian Murray and Mackenzie and those, you know, but that started to believe that we could really have a crack at some silverware. But ultimately, the league. But that day, professional day, we had a pre-match meal, all that sort of stuff. We prepared for it as best we can. I just think when you're coming up against full-time players, and I think Adam Rooney, he scored their third goal I think they were just a little bit fitter and a little bit stronger than us, if I'm honest with you, Graham. I don't vividly remember. I remember Xander Sutherland being a bloody good player. I remember him being a constant nuisance and constantly wanting to watch him. Other than that, I don't really remember an Adam Rooney. Those two boys were the two that stood out that day for me as probably why they were just a shade ahead of us.
The 2010-11 season, though, sees us win the Highland League Cup. I want to take you back, first of all, to the first round of that competition that season down at Formartine, and you were sent off in quite bizarre circumstances.
Was that the first round? Right.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. So that was obviously Formartine to come into the league, and they'd spent a lot of money. They'd spent good money. So I remember as thinking to myself, this is going to be a really tough game. I think we ended up winning the game 4-0. But yeah, it was a bizarre sending off. So they'd taken a free kick, and it wasn't the best free kick, and I'd saved it down low to my right. And I honestly believe I'd had the ball in my hands for like 4 seconds, and then Richie Singer stamped him, and I think we were 2-0 up or whatever at the time, and I lost the loaf. But it wasn't, I didn't headbutt him, contrary to popular belief. It was an Eskimo kiss at best. And anyway, so on the field, the referee yellow carded me, right, fine. But then going into half time, and Les is going through his talk and what have you, the assistant linesman, whatever, comes in and was like, Mr. Donaldson, can you please come through to the referee's office? And I was like, yeah, of course, no problem. And it was the weirdest. He fully like stood up as if we were on the field and gave me a red card. I'm like, who the fuck are you showing, you fucking idiot? And he said, would you like another one? I was like, I would not. So yeah, sent off. I think I'd actually been sent off at Strathspey before, but it was not a good feeling, especially my uncle. He lives in Pitmeadows. Every time we went for Martin, he'd come and watch me. And his story about it's funny. He's like, you come in, he's like, Callum, I thought it was like a game. He's like, you're becoming a man, you're dominating, like, you're coming for crosses, performance was awesome. He said, I thought you got hooked at half time. I was like, yeah, no, I would have preferred that actually.
Later on in the competition, the semi-final at Rothes, you missed that game. Ali Ridgers therefore plays a few games to gear him up to take your place in that semi-final. We win the semi-final, and looking back at the records, Ali retains his place when you were back available again. How did that make you feel?
Not good. Not good at all. Probably didn't cover myself in glory with the management at that time. I
was going to say, would you be sort of one to go and have a word in these circumstances?
Yeah, all the time. And looking back on it now, was it the right thing to do or not? I don't know. I think it's a part of my character I wouldn't be able to change regardless. But yeah, I had a few pretty vocal explosions, I suppose you would probably say, with the management at the time. Yeah, and again, it's back to just wanting to play, but also we brought in a lot of players at Nairn. We'd spent a lot of money at the time, what have you, and I felt like I was one of the core people who had Nairn County first and foremost as my priority. I didn't necessarily always feel that was the same throughout everybody else. So I seen myself as a local boy, really, even though from Carbridge, but I'd been there for such a long time. I'd been associated with the club for such a long time that I wanted to be part of them winning, And then thankfully, Ali Ridgers passed the ball to Mike McKenzie in front of the goal and got me in. I don't know if he did it on purpose, but he bloody helped me out anyway.
Just going to say that by the time we get to the final, you're back in. You've got the shirt back again. The final against Fraserburgh, it was a 4-0 win. It was probably one of the biggest days in the recent history of the football club. Can you talk us through it? And were you confident going into it? Was there any nerves at all? Was there a point in the game where you think, we're winning this, there's no chance of not winning this game? Yeah,
there was actually, yeah. So the day itself, we prepared really well, as we always had done. And at that point, I had a feeling, kind of throw out a little cliche here, I had a feeling though that we'd always been the bridesmaid. We'd finished second in the league, I think, the season before. I mean, we were miles away, but I had a feeling that like this was about bloody time where it's our kind of time to win, Like I know kind of qualms, we had, as I say, we had David Hines, Bobo, we had Paul McLeod, we had Sid, we had Cammy, we had Gail, we had Greg, Main, Glenn Main was there, Tony Lowe was there, Robbie Duncan, our squad, it should have been our God-given right to be winning trophies, But on the day we were prepared. Robbie Duncanson was actually on his honeymoon, so he missed the game, unfortunately. So that was a worry, right? Because Robbie was such an influential player for us, and I think as a result of that, we had to kind of shuffle around some players. So Fraserburgh always gives you a bit of a worry because they're such a physical side. They had players like Scott Barber, they had another boy up front. I can't remember his real name. His name was Chizzy. But, so there's some bloody good players. They still have Russell McPhee playing. So they have some really good players and really physical players. So there's always a concern there that if it became a real physical game and if the wind's blowing off the surf and that Devon Vale could be a bit of a leveler. But we were superb that day. With you, I'll be perfectly honest with you. See when Sid scored the first goal, I didn't think we were conceding a goal that day. I didn't think at all we were conceding a goal. And Glenn Main's goal, I don't know if you remember Glenn Main's goal. think it's the only left foot who's ever scored in his life. He cut in and he just bent it in. Great goal. And I was buzzing when Glenn scored, because, as I say, there was a little bit of as Nairn boys, that it matters more. And that's all nonsense. I'm sure it mattered the same amount to me as it mattered to any of the players that were playing that day. But yeah, that was a great day.
With us winning so comprehensively, was there a point in the game where you're just able to sit back and drink it all in?
Nah, not really. So I don't think you get, it's an interesting thing you say that, because I think as a goalkeeper, you don't actually ever really enjoy the game, because you're always, and that's kind of well, that's how I felt. And it's certainly, it's like I'm still one mistake away from making for it to be a goal, and games can change quick, momentum can change quick in a game of football. So I can't actually think I was ever like, we've won the Highland League Cup or anything like that. And I probably wouldn't have ever allowed myself to think that anyway, even if at 4-0 down with 10 minutes to go. 4-0 up, with 10 minutes ago, I wouldn't have allowed myself ever to think that. But that feeling when the whistle went, it was a good feeling. And the Nairn fans were out in droves that day, and yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, you mentioned you couldn't enjoy the game, but tell us about the night out and the celebrations after. It must have been pretty raucous.
The night out was chaos. One thing I vividly remember is, I guess I must have been talking to supporters or whatever, because the dressing room, by the time I got, I remember there's a metal table in the dressing room, and Dale Gillespie's like with 2 cans of beer, and he's like soaking Les, and that set the tone for the night, if I'm honest. Yeah, I remember we were drinking champagne out of bottles in the bus, and I think somebody must have gone we went to some sort of social club, and when we got back on the bus, somebody had obviously gone to the office and got us bottles of champagne. I actually remember Easter and I think we were in the Star. We were adequately refreshed, Graham, and we went across the road. I can't remember what the bar is called now. Russell Main's dad used to own it. What's the bar?
The Cali.
Aye, they wouldn't let us in. I said, "We just won the Highland League Cup." He said, "I'm not caring a fuck what you won." He wouldn't let us in. So all the players were in there, and Easter and I had to stay in the Star. But yeah, no, it was good. I think I actually ended up staying at Tosh's that night. It was a great time, great night. Yeah. You see, if you can bottle up that feeling and sell it, you're better than any drug in the whole world. It was tremendous.
The Nairn County podcast is brought to you in association with our digital partners, Ziyen Energy. Click on Ziyen.com to find out more.